What is emotional intelligence and why is it so important for our kids? Oh my goodness, let me tell you about the abundance of research that we now have at our fingertips that is telling us emotional intelligence is critical for our children. It does not matter what age your child is. This stuff, emotional intelligence, and modeling and teaching and giving this gift to our children is probably one of the best things that we can ever do for them. And now we have the research at our fingertips. We have the knowledge and the information as to why this is so important. So I'm going to go through some of the reasons why emotional intelligence is so powerful for our children. And I see it as a non-negotiable trait, a set of traits and a set of skills that really are a no-brainer for us as parents to be giving and teaching to our children. I would also love to see this so much more in schools, but that is another conversation. So let's go through some of the research behind emotional intelligence. There is now so much research being done. As I said, there is even the Center for Emotional Intelligence over in Yale University in the US, because there are people and teams dedicated to finding out just how impactful this is for our kids. So let's begin with what even is emotional intelligence. So I look at emotional intelligence through the lens or the context of our children and us as a family unit, and obviously in parenting, because that's a big chunk of my work, an emotional intelligent parent coach. So when we look at what emotional intelligence is for our kids, it's really the ability for them to recognize and value their emotions. Also to recognize emotions in other people. Okay, so not just them and how they're feeling, but it's also that understanding that other people have emotions too, and what that means for them. So it's recognizing our own and others' emotions, but it's also utilizing that information because it is valuable information. Our emotions are critical, powerful, valuable sources of information and insight into our functioning, how we are showing up, our behavior, and things like that. So utilizing that information to adjust our behavior, to make good decisions, to change or shift the way we show up in order to deepen relationships with those people around us. So in a nutshell, emotional intelligence is knowing your own emotions and those of others and using that information to guide your decisions and actions and behavior. So we know that emotions are underneath everything we say and do. We're emotional creatures, we're human, right? And for too long, I think we have really learned some lessons that we need to unlearn that are unhelpful about emotions, such as they are childish, they are silly, they are awkward, they are embarrassing, they are unhelpful, they are signs of weakness. So many really unhelpful messages around emotions that we have learned, and now is the time that we need to unlearn them, because that is harming our children. Too many kids these days grow, either they are kids themselves with anxiety or depression or other mental health conditions, or they will grow into teenagers or adults who develop those. And one of the things I'm going to share with you is that emotional intelligence is a proven protective factor against anxiety and depression. That in itself is massive. That's one of the most important pieces of research for me personally that I learned. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos or are in the Facebook group, Let's Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids, you will know I've spoken about my anxiety as a child and as a teenager and into my 20s, and my huge lack of emotional intelligence. So valuing emotions in ourselves and in others, and utilizing our emotions as valuable sources of insight in our relationships. So I want to go through, these are the top 10 pieces of research that I have come across and I have written down and saved because I love how powerful this is. So this is what the research says as to why emotional intelligence is important for our kids. Number 1, kids with emotional intelligence have good self-awareness. Okay, no brainer. Understanding and having the awareness of how I'm feeling, why I'm feeling these feelings, and what I can do, right? Number 2, they cope with big emotions more smoothly. Things like frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, grief, confusion, those really strong, uncomfortable emotions. They also handle stress and anxiety better. As I said, emotional intelligence is a protective factor against anxiety and depression. Also, kids with emotional intelligence have more problem-solving capabilities, more problem-solving skills. Working out how to solve a problem rather than blowing up or melting down about it. That's huge. They also better manage aggressive people. So people who come at them or are around their space in their environment, maybe in the classroom, maybe in the playground, who are aggressive or angry or rude. Sensing our emotions, our emotional state and someone else's, and knowing how to deal with those people and ourselves using emotional intelligence is so powerful. So another one is that kids with emotional intelligence skills have closer relationships with their parents. Huge. That's a really exciting one. Okay. When we show up from a place of emotional intelligence and we understand our emotions and we navigate through them, we don't blow up. We don't throw out threats or punishment when our kids are having big emotions. We understand and we have empathy for them. That builds connection. Builds connection. They are less likely to turn to drugs and alcohol to manage strong emotions. Wow. That is so profound. Less likely to turn to drugs and alcohol. Why would they need to when they know how to deal with those uncomfortable emotions? They are also more sensitive to the emotions and needs of other people. So we're talking empathy here. One core competency or skill within the umbrella of emotional intelligence is empathy. People often think emotional intelligence is empathy. No, it's only one part. So recognizing others' emotions, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, knowing how they may be feeling and adjusting your behavior and what you say. How beneficial is that for relationships and friendships for kids? They are naturally more self-confident and more resilient. I know we all want to raise resilient kids. Emotional intelligence helps us do this. And the last one, very interesting, is that kids with emotional intelligence skills perform better on academic testing. So we can see EQ, emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, impacts IQ, the intelligence quotient. Okay, so fascinating research. Another extra bit I might add on is that people with emotional intelligence skills will go on to earn more money in their career than those without emotional intelligence. People do not want to work with people who do not know how to manage their emotions, who blow up or who are rude or aggressive or lack empathy, can't build bonds and relationships. People don't want to work with those people. So really, really powerful stuff. Emotional intelligence is what we need to be intentionally teaching our kids now. Not in a few years, not when they hit school, not when they hit high school, not maybe later. Now we need to lay the foundations now for this. We do not get a redo. We don't get a do-over. We don't get a second shot at raising our kids. And if we want to protect them against anxiety, depression, falling in, with a wrong crowd, not knowing how to deal with their emotions, blowing up or shutting us out, if we want to raise resilient kids, confident kids, then this is how we do it. Bring emotional intelligence into your home. If you want more support on this, if you want to learn how to do it, oh my goodness, I have so many resources. I have so many courses. I work with parents doing this stuff. My website is stephaniepinto.com. All the links are going to be below. You guys can reach out. You can book a chat with me, or you can do one of the online courses, or you can jump in and take a program with me. This stuff is so powerful. I cannot highlight that enough. And I really invite you to take just the next step. So jump on my website, contact me, make sure you're in the Facebook group. Let's Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids, and let's do this. This is the time for you and your kids. I'm excited. All right, see you guys soon.